here we go. This is Bobby Jeezy and Heezy coming to you straight out of Livingston Billiards in Bradenton, Florida. We got another great lineup for you guys. This is winners bracket action. Desi Derado versus Jason Richko. Jason's Fargo is a 661 and Desi is a 691. I'm going to let Raymond R's in the house. He's going to take over, and I got to go play a match. So I will be right back afterwards.
All right, guys. Looks like we got Desi Derado. Got a nice power stroke here. Left-handed player against Jason Richko. Both guys are undefeated and having a good tournament. So this is winner side action. I know Jason's won a couple good matches today. He beat Tommy Kennedy, I think, first round, and then he beat Mike DeLauder, I think, on the winner side. I'm not sure what Desi's road to this point has been, but this is to get to Final Four on the winner side. Looks like Desi's going to have the first break. Choosing to break from the middle. We're playing 9-ball on the spot. 9-ball does not count anywhere, and 2 must be racked behind the 9, touching it. I don't particularly like this break, the slam break with the 9 on the spot. Usually it's like a last resort thing if you can't get the balls to touch up, and you just want to try and give them a good whack. Then that's what usually happens. But anyways, he does make a ball in the break. Comes with a really nice opening shot on the 1. Bumps into the 6, but gets a nice little rub, and the 2's opened up. So now he's got to use the bridge. And he has 2 options. He can either come to the middle of the table or try and come all the way across. Looks like he tried to play for the middle, but caught the 2 a little full, and so he didn't get the glance he was anticipating. I like staying high on that ball because then it just makes position natural from the 3 to the 5. But now he's got a real thin cut, so he's got to manage his carom line and a spin to try and get position. Let's see how he executes here. Fortunately, he misses the whole ball trying to catch it too thin. It was definitely a thin hit, probably like about an 8th ball, and doesn't take much to fan it. So Richko comes to the table for the first time with ball in hand, and he's just going to look at how he wants to approach. Honestly, if he can get to where the 9 is now, that's ideal, because then that gives him a stop shot position on the 6. So he got to a safe place where he can at least make the 5, and he's going towards the 6 a little bit. So we might see him push the 6 towards the corner pocket. If he does, this will be a medium stroke, depending on how his carom line is coming out. If he's going directly into it, then he'll play medium speed, kiss the 6 over, and he preserved the nice angle off the 6 to go up table. So this is ideal. Now the critical position here, he wants to stay on this side of the 7 ball, give himself natural 2-rail position back up table for the 8. If he goes forward to the 2nd cushion, he'll use inside English. If not, then he'll just come 1 rail. I like the 1 rail option myself because it helps you ensure that you're safe and you're not kind of flirting with that in-between range going 2 cushions, where if you go too far, you can get real flat and then you got to stroke the ball a lot. So he made sure to take care of the cue ball there by coming 1 rail, guarantee himself the angle. Now it's just float the 7 in and come 2 cushions. Back up table. Now when a player is really good in stroke, he's going to be dialed in on how, the speed of the table and keeping this angle high. A lot of people want to get down on the bottom rail. Sometimes they'll get flat on the 8, and you'll see them have to draw the cue ball back to the cushion and back out with spin and do more than they have to, whereas if they just preserve the angle, then it's really simple. So you did a nice job there. 2 cushions forward. Clips the 9. That's not good. He wanted to just get by it, and now he's got to come with a tough shot. And he's right-handed, so he's got to stretch to get to this pocket. He's not happy with himself there. That was just, he probably didn't even need English. He probably put just a hair of inside English and spun into the 9, but no English probably got him there. Still, he recovers with a nice shot, nice stretch, and cleans up the first rack. And that was on Desi's break. Very important. We're playing alternate break 9-ball. And, winning on your opponent's break really puts the heat on him, especially if you can hold serve. So we'll see how Jason decides to break after watching Desi break him in the first rack. We're in Livingston Billiards here in Bradenton, just south of Tampa. Beautiful area and a nice room. It looks like they're updating the room as well. I think in a few months they're going to be bringing in brand new diamonds. I think 8 9-foot diamonds to add to the 2 9-footers we have already here. So in short order, this pool room will be a destination, probably the best on the Central Florida coast here. Okay, Jason looking to breaking from closer to the rail, still on the table, but he came across the balls. I also don't like that. It's basically like simulating a slam break when you come across them. So it's like he broke from the box on the opposite side of the table, and he came up dry. So I kind of like just breaking from the rail if you can get the balls tight and come with a nice medium cut break. I had a lot of success on this table with that kind of break. All right, looks like Desi's up to shoot here. Going to play safe, spinning the cue ball behind the 4, banking the 1-up table nicely. Nice full contact on the 1 to send it up table to the short cushion, and leaving Jason snookered, but in line with a jump shot. The 1 is a little off angle from the corner pocket, and the 7 slightly obstructing, so it might be tough to make, but definitely a ball you expect Jason to hit. On those kind of like 2 rail safes, it's extra crushing if you can get off that second cushion and get onto the ball. Speed to the ball for safe is really debilitating for a lot of players and puts you in such a trap. But if you get to the rail only, effectively it's really no good, especially with the top caliber players. Those guys are going to jump the ball so well. Guys like Jesus Atencio and Fedor Gorsht, Shane, those guys are all super deadly with the jump cue. So Richko misses the jump going in, but clips it on the way out. And I think he's left Desi doubled up where the 1 doesn't clear the 2, but he can see the full 1 ball. So likely we'll see him hit a stop shot right here and stick the cue ball on the 8, sending the 1 ball up table. Not as effective as he would have liked. He let the cue ball slide a little bit forward instead of playing that pure stick. If he would have stuck him tight, Jason would be in a really tough spot right now where the 1 is. But now he could even see the 1 ball full. So that's a failed safety attempt. And Jason, as a consequence, now returns serve, and now Desi's full hooked. So you'll see Desi kick to the short cushion, and he's got a big ball here to hit. So he's trying to see what he wants to do. I think ideally he'd like to hit the second cushion before contacting the 1. That way he plays kind of an umbrella shot and spreads the cue ball and the 1 ball. See? He played the second cushion. He went a little bit deep. I would have liked to see him go. He might not have been able to based on where he was, but if he could have gone deeper into the cushion and down off the fuller part of the 1 would have come up table and the cue ball would have drifted back towards the 4. He could have even returned safety that way. Jason's playing another similar style safety, spreading the cue ball on the 1 on opposite sides and using an interfering ball. Nicely done. Desi can see the top of the 1, I believe, so you might see him spin up table, try and maybe get him behind the 5 or the 6. He went 2 cushions, cross table, very nice. Both guys very experienced. You can see they're moving well. Jason again can see the full 1 ball though. Let's see what he decides to do. Might see him bank the 1 up table by the 6 and try and get the cue ball to our left as we see. Yeah, just like that. Nice full hit. Didn't get enough of a cut though to get the cue ball over. So at that point, then the optic ball speed becomes really important. So he's left now a natural cut with position Desi can bury the 1. He can go 2 cushions up table. He overcuts it. But good cue ball down to the bottom rail. Kind of back to where we started. I think we're going to see Jason again try and split the balls. If he can see the left side of the 1, he'll bank the 1 up table and go 1 rail behind the 6 ball, just like this. It's really nice speed there. I'm not sure if he got the full hook. It's close. Desi might need to curve the ball slightly. Yeah, he's elevating his cue. This would be a slight masse. Nice full hit. Controlled the cue ball nicely and the 1 ball. These guys are really fighting for this opening position. Jason's probably going to go to the jump cue. There's a 2 cushion kick there if he wants it, but both balls are kind of coming out, so it's kind of not a great option. You can play to try and pocket the 1. And if he overcuts it slightly, if he favors the overcut, then the cue ball goes up table. Gives himself a chance to get snookered. He hit it full. Now both balls are coming out. Desi's rewarded with a full look at the 1. I don't know if the 1 passes a 7, though. We might see him play safety 1 more time. Both guys really trying to secure this opening position. All right, Desi down on the ball. Plays the combo, aggressive option. Didn't like his end of getting a workable safety from there. Lots of clutter and traffic to manage, so he just goes ahead and shoots to make the combo. Makes it well. Now, again, we're going to see him probably return with a safety, probably splitting the 1 to the side cushion and spinning the cue ball over behind the 9. Nope, he played it thin and went long. Interesting shot. It's a good option, actually. Kind of limits what Jason can do. Might see Jason try and come deep behind the 1. No, he's looking to come over the top of it. If he goes over the top of it, I kind of look at him to play speed to like bump into the 3 and leave the 1 on the long rail. Yeah, so you see if he would have hit the ball full and banked it up by the 2, then the 1 would have been by the 2 and the cue ball by the 3. And if he makes it, he can play safe off the 2 here. So it looks like he's going to elevate. I don't think he needs to elevate, but he's elevating. Just stopping the cue ball. Trying to leave Desi on a diagonal. I think the 2 might have gone too far, and it's an easy... It might be... I think Desi might be able to see the whole ball, to be honest. Yep, see the whole ball. Makes a great shot. Goes into the 4. I think he's been rewarded with a shot on the 3. What a great shot. Looks very comfortable on the table. I think Desi's from the Northeast. He recently moved to the East Coast of Florida. So this is, I think, the 2nd time I've seen him out. A little fast on the cue ball there. This table does have some legs compared to the outer tables. So you got to be kind of delicate with your touch sometimes. But still, he's in good position if he can avoid the 8. Just wants to come 1 rail past the 8. He's on the long rail. It's not ideal. You see there he's motioning that he feels like he didn't come through the ball clean. Tough to do with the bridge, of course. Okay. So he's got to come with a nice tough shot here. Nice thing about these diamonds, though, is if you follow through, commit to your shot, just deliver a nice smooth stroke, get that cue ball to the short cushion, likely you're going to come up table, come back up for a position on the 6. You just got to bury the shot. Wow, he was super straight in, so he plays short side. Super nice shot. This is just bear down and make the 6. Leave yourself a cut on the 2. Nice shot down the cushion into the camera, into your living room station there. Okay. He's a little bit off angle, so he's going to decide how to address the ball. He can either yank it with draw, which it looks like he's doing. He can also play this high. Desi likes to draw the ball. He's got a big stroke, so it's no problem for him. Oh, it looks like I missed marking the first game, so sorry about that. It should be 1-1 now. Both guys obviously playing real nice pool. That was a nice game. Lots of defensive maneuvering back and forth, trying to vie for the shot. Richko, obviously a local Florida guy, plays out of Strokers in Palm Harbor. Former U.S. Amateur champion. Desi, obviously a very experienced player. Looks comfortable out there. Not afraid to come with a tough shot as needed. He made a couple really nice shots. That combination made a nice thin cut shot. A couple balls and showing his skills. He's adapting his break. I like to see that. Moving a little bit further wider. Emulating what Jason did slightly. But he might cut the ball maybe. Yeah, I like that better. Still no dice. Hitting it still full. I think he's still got to cut the ball a little bit more if he wants to get productive on the break. Of course, this is all assuming a perfect rack, and the rack dynamics always change, match to match and game to game. So it's never an absolute thing, your breaking position. So we always assume that the rack is the same every time, but those things fluctuate as the tournament goes on, and you get little divots and things like that. Jason with a nice safety. 4 cushions behind the cluster. A little hot on the speed. The cue ball bumped its way out, but the 1 is tucked behind the 6. Desi might have a thin clip at the ball. Hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like he's got a look at the ball. So he might play thin off. No, he did not. He played to the rail and back out. Now he's just hoping for the 2 to tie up here. It looks like it's kind of tied up. Might be a trap. So this is where you got to ask yourself, is it worth it for me to go for the 1 and make it if there's no reward, there's no way to get to the 2, or if it's a trap? It looks like he's playing for a small window where he can maybe go rail first. So him shooting at the 1 tells me that he can probably see this gap between the 8 and 9 and can go rail first and then maybe play safety off the 3. Otherwise, if that wasn't there, that's what he did. If that wasn't there, then the right shot would have been to try and play safe. So even though he could see the 1 to make it, sometimes that situation comes up where you don't have a positive opportunity after making the ball, so it doesn't make sense to try and go after it. Anyhow, Jason's trying to figure out what he wants to do here to gain the advantage. Looks like he's just going to thin the 3, carrying into the 6 nicely and leaving the balls kind of tied up together and make Desi have to develop something. This is nice. I kind of see Desi kicking to the left rail here. Kicking to the right rail brings a cue ball and the 3 ball out into space. And I don't like this kicking this direction. Because if you kick this way, both the 3 and the cue ball are coming into the open. It's a high probability Jason's going to get a shot. If he kicks the other way, then he can wedge the 3 against the rail again and kind of live to fight another day. Here, there's no chance really for him to get cover, and he's going to give Jason the initiative. So I disagree with his option on kicking to the short cushion. Even though it was an easier kick to kick that way, it's the worst position tactically to kick that way. All right, Jason surveying the field. Some players will just kind of close their eyes and just chop this 3 ball and hope for the best. I think Jason is going to be a little bit smarter than that. He's just going to wedge the 3-ball underneath this cluster and bring the cue ball. Notice the cue ball speed getting to the long cushion. That's very good. This guarantees that Desi has to come up with a Fona Filipino kick. So he's got to kick high at the side pocket and use spin to hit this gap between the 8 and 9 in order to come a second cushion behind the 3. Super, super tough kick. He's looking at the 3-row option above the side, shortening it up, but also that's really tough. Really, really tough to get into that tight window. Let's see what he does. Probably easier kick that way, but the cue ball wants to bend open, and so the 6 becomes larger, especially because where the 5 is. Like the ideal kicking spot, the 5 is kind of flirting in the way, so you might have to use a little reverse to kind of fight the bend. Bend forward, hits the 6. Yeah, the cue ball really wants to hook forward. He acknowledges a nice tactical decision by Jason, and again, this is all because of his choice to kick to the shortcut to the near rail instead of kicking to the further rail, and put himself in a bad position where Jason could wrestle away the initiative and put him in a really jam up safety. And now Jason has ball in hand, and it looks like he's playing for the 4-9 combination, which I agree with. If he can get on a good line, he's a little further than he needed to be. He could have, angled the cue ball slightly where he's getting a little closer to the 4-9. Like maybe if he could have played the cue ball to the shortcut to the long rail just past the side and then back out slightly, gives you a lot of nice things that you can do with securing this. Now you got to hit a little bit of a more of a skilled shot, to make the 4-9. So I think that was a positional error from Jason. And even though Desi's going to win this rack, it's important to not let the outcome kind of confuse the thought process and where the tactical decision errors came for both guys. So that's a very instructive rack to kind of gain some knowledge from. Desi, I think, played the wrong kick, and then Jason left himself a little work to do with that combination. I think if you're going to decide to play an early combination like that and you have ball in hand, then it's worth it to try and squeeze the maximum out of your positional value with ball in hand to make your job super easy. Like if he's 6-8 inches from the 4 ball, now he can play a soft draw shot that kind of opens in the 4 into a natural rolling ball, and it makes the pocket much larger because you can play the 9 at a slower speed and secure the 9 ball combination much easier. Whereas at 2 diamonds away, you have to hit the 4 with a little bit higher speed, which means it now decreases your margin of error, and you have to be much more accurate because you're hitting the ball with a higher speed in order to get the cue ball and the object ball to do what they need to make the 9. So very interesting situation. Desi takes a lead 2-1. We'll probably see Jason come off the thin left side of the 1 and go up table with the cue ball. Maybe try and get him deep by the 8 in that corner. Nope, he felt comfortable cutting it in. Makes a really nice shot. And look at the cue ball speed. Perfect. Really, really nice shot. Now we got to see if he's able to squeeze the 2 past the 8, or if he's forced to play a combination. I guess we'll find out here soon. He's drawing the ball. Wow, he tried to pinch the pocket. Tough to do on this table. This table's playing really nice. The cloth isn't like so worn in, but it's also like it's just not sliding anymore. So you got to be real clean on what's happening into the pocket. Desi's got a 1-row kick to make the 2. Pockets it. Uses the 8 slightly as a sideboard. Now he's got to decide what he wants to do as far as the 3. It's kind of tough. I think the 6 is kind of in the way of a bank. Cutting the 3 in the corner is super tough. Cue ball might go up table and scratch. Cutting it aside is super tough because you can't really get close to the 4 ball after. So might see him play safe. Yep, he just chops the 3 up table and plays a cue ball short angle style to the long rail. I guess he just focused on the object ball speed there. Intelligent decision, I think. Just kind of bide your time. Don't have to be a superhero all the time. Make your opponent come with something, especially after your opponent just made an error. Kind of have the built-in equity of maybe, frustration. Maybe they go for something they shouldn't. We'll see. See what Jason decides. Plays kick and stick behind the 3. Good speed on the 3. Lots of patience there. I like that. The 3 is just high enough off the short rail there that you got to be mindful. There's a couple carom angles here that bring you into the corner, so you got to be careful. Desi might just chop at the 3 to make it. Yeah. Yeah, he saw an opening. Now he's got the 4 on the side. Probably see him float down. Play the 6 on the opposite side. Nope, he decided to stun at 2 cushions and come back up table. Rubs the 6. I think he's okay. I think he's just got to make one little recovery shot. You'll see him go to the cushion and out. No, he tried to swing the cue ball. Interesting. I probably would have played high ball to the long rail and out, but he's obviously comfortable moving the ball and felt good, probably about pocketing the 6 a little bit firmer stroke. 3 cushions. Good speed. And this is also very confident that he played 3 cushions, below the side. That's normally most players will spin the ball and try and get above the side, but he played 3 cushions, natural and tight. And he's going with the bridge. Interesting, he's playing with the bridge and not opposite-handed. Gives it a nice little poke. Secures the cue ball and a 3-1 lead. This is where you're kicking yourself. Jason's probably, upset at himself for missing that combination. It's tough action. I'm going to try and peek into the chat here. I don't have it on the laptop with me, but I'm sure it's available here somewhere. All right. Hi, Bella Richko. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Nikita. Appreciate that. Okay, looks like Desi's now switching to the rail break. This is, I think, the better position. I expect him to be more productive with the break from here. Even if he breaks dry, I think this is the right choice with 9 on the spot. He does break dry, which means he probably needs a racking coach. But still, you can get a nice solid hit on the 1 ball and get a lot of movement. Okay, Jason's eyeing up an aggressive shot on the 1. This is a very important part of the match for Jason, and I don't want to see him start chasing unnecessarily, but he wants to be aggressive. Chopped at the 1. Cue ball comes across. He might get fortunate with a leave. Yeah, hooks Desi. Now, even though the score is 3-1, Desi's fair has really been an even game so far, and both guys could have, the score could be 3-1 the other way very, very easily, just a couple shots. So Desi kicks, but does not get rail, gives Jason ball in hand. This is exactly what he needs this critical game, down 3-1. He really wants to try and secure this rack, especially against Desi on Desi's break. If he can get it on Desi's break, big deal for him, confidence-wise. Takes a lot of pressure off, and he'll have the break next rack. So Jason looks a little uncomfortable. He's got to like let go the last couple games and just kind of focus on how do I win this rack. The 3 is way up table. It's really tough to get all the way up table. I wonder if he's going to try and pump the 2 in and go forward 2 cushions. He does. Makes a really nice shot. It's one thing I like about these diamonds, that the rails are very lively and they're very consistent, so it makes shots like that enjoyable to play and also to see happen. So it's good for him. Yeah, he was able to let his stroke out, had the gap between the 6 and 7 to get up table. Now he's looking at how does he want to get position from the 3 to the 4. I think the 4 passes the 6 in this corner pocket, so he can either stun with a little bit of left English off the 3 and come 1 cushion past the side for the 4, or he would go forward 2 cushions and try and come between, past the 8 the other side and get past that center line of the table for the 4 in that pocket. Let's see what he decides. Looks like he's queuing low with a stunning ball, so he'll come back 1 rail. He whipped it back a 2nd cushion. Okay. I don't think he can pocket the 4, but at the very least he can see the ball. Depending on his angle, I wouldn't be surprised if he cuts the 4 to our left and stuns a cue ball to the long rail and then down underneath the 6 and 7 and plays safety in that fashion. There's an offensive position here where he could try and bank the 4 and stay underneath the 5 also. So he had the angle to play the rolling version, which I like better. This is nice because now Desi's on a diagonal and has to go up table to a small ball to pocket the 4. And Desi's got to play speed to get to the cue ball down to the bottom cushion after contact. That gives him the best chance for something to happen. He hit it thin. Got a nice rub. Notice the speed. He didn't play speed just to hit the 4. He played speed to get to the 4 and get contact. If that was a full ball contact, the 4 would have banked towards a pocket and the cue ball would have gone down to the bottom rail. If he makes it, then he's got position on the 5 and the side. And if not, then, the cue ball is below the 4 and the cue ball has to go up table and back down to get position. So that's the right speed to pick. So good option there from Desi. I think Jason can see the bottom of the 4. So I think he tried to play thinner on the 4 and get 2 cushions behind the 9, but caught it full, and the 4 clipped the 9 coming back out. So now Desi's got a kind of a tough shot. I think he's playing to the side. Yes, playing to the side. High ball, overcut it slightly. Tried to steer it in with some body English, but that does not work, no matter how hard we try. Unless you lean really, really well, like you got a good lean game, then that's strong. All right, Jason's got 3 rail position off the 4 to the center of the table. This is exactly what he needs. He needs an opening inning where he can get himself settled and recover a little bit and get another beat up on the table and have a break. Again, this is on Desi's break. So an important game. Got pretty straight on the 5. Was able to move the cue ball slightly. Nice angle on the 6. You might pinch this back. Yep. Careful, don't rub the far side of the 9. Okay, he's safe. That can get sketchy, especially if you add a little bit of outside English. You can easily spin at that speed past the 9 and end up hooked, unfortunately. But he avoided that. 2 rails forward. He'll play to the center of the table. It's better to be high on this ball than too far below, so he plays to the middle. Now, he's got natural position. He's got to avoid contacting the 9. This is next ball in rotation foul. So if he were to touch the 9 with his shirt or with his cue, it would be ball in hand. He played this nicely, 2 cushions. Didn't attack the stroke too much, probably because he was hindered by the 9 and wanted to make sure not to hit it. But obviously, ideal would have been another 2 feet, past that line, and it would have been straight in on the 9. But this is a very makeable ball. He'll hit this with a little bit of left English to avoid the scratch on the side. Overcut the ball, jumped up right away. Probably this girl with the red shirt sharked him, and he'll blame her for the rest of the evening on that shot. Desi, I think he's got to approach the table and think to himself, this is a free opportunity to steal a game, and he's got to be aggressive here. So I look for him to play a 1-rail bank, to play the 9 ball straight back underneath him, play at a good speed, hit it, even if you miss, it's okay. It's not a big deal because, Jason really should have never missed that 9. So that's just an opportunity for you to steal a game. So it kind of takes the pressure off of you if you think about it that way. If your opponent misses the 9 ball, it doesn't matter if it ends up on the light. You should just look at it as like, okay, this is a free chance for me to steal the game and put him on tilt. And if you bury the bank, boy, he really is doing, So in any case, Jason allows the girls not to shark him. He gets up. Important game for him, so he needs to be mindful and be present the whole time. So he does the smart thing by getting up, resetting. Sometimes we get stubborn and we say, "Oh, I'll be fine. I'll make this ball." Blah blah blah, and then we rattle one and want to eat your cue. Jason comments that the girl almost got him twice. Anyways, all right. So he wins an important game back. It's 3-2 in Jason's break. This is, I think, the second game that Jason's won on Desi's break, which means Desi's only won 1 of his games on his break, but he's won 2 on Jason's break. So honestly, being down 3-2, Jason has to tell himself, well, I've made a couple mistakes, and I'm only down by 1 game. I got to like my position from here because I don't look to make those mistakes very often. So, you got to have that positive psychology, and that conversation with yourself to get yourself back in. And here's an opportunity to even the match and get back on par. Again, Jason went to break, slam break over the top. I don't like this break personally. I don't think it's productive overall in the long run. But he is at the table. He did make a ball before. Made 1 ball. He's got to try and avoid colliding with the 5. I would probably play this high ball with left spin to avoid the 5 and play speed to get to the kitchen line here. Just like that, he wants to avoid the 5. Notice he overcut the 1. He overcut the 1 slightly. He did use left English, but probably slightly elevated, being off the rail, and so the cue ball probably curved away from his contact point slightly, which made him hit the 1 thin, which means he went further into the 5 than he was intending. The speed was good, but if he would have made a clean contact on the 1 as he wanted to, he would have avoided the 5 and probably gotten shape on the 2. So that's how important that initial contact on the 1 was. Jason's trying to see what he wants to do here. Might see him play thin off the left side of the 2 and send the cue ball 3 cushions up table. Went to the long rail and then back down. Wants to avoid leaving a possible carom on the 9. There is a carom on the 3, however. I like Desi going for the carom on the 3 over the carom on the 9 personally. But he swung at the 9 and made a great shot. Notice he used a little draw to bring the cue ball angle back. And the good thing about that particular shot going for the 9 is that it's very likely that you get some separation. But if you don't hit a favorable carom, that 2 ball can swing back around and come back up table and maybe leave a return carom if you don't bury the 9. So he made a wonderful shot. Aggressive, saw the line, decided quickly what he wanted to do, and just swung at it. Jason's got to feel like a little bit on tilt there. All right, Desi's moving the cue ball around, which is good. He hasn't really been productive on his break. Again, that's the third game that Desi's won on Richko's break. Okay, switching over here, dry again. Okay, I kind of like Jason thinning the right side of the 1. Probably like around a quarter ball and just coming 3 cushions behind the 5-2. I don't even think he needs very much spin. No spin. He played the +2 version. Wonderful shot. Good speed. Got to the bottom rail and brought the 1 out to the middle table, which makes it a super small target. Really, really nice shot. That was maximum English +2 to dig 3 cushions short, and the speed was great to fall on the bottom rail. So big area there, even though the cue ball's moving and moving over a lot of distance. It makes the cue ball very easy to control. All right, Jason's going to kick 1 rail. Clips the 1. Hoping to get a rub on the 8 favorably. Nope, does not. Okay, Desi's got a chance to really secure control here. Playing the 1 on the side. Got to avoid carrying the 7. He does. Gets past the side pocket. Almost. He rubs the point slightly. He knows if he just gets past the point there, he's good on the 2. Good cue ball speed, just a hair more English than he wanted. All right, he'll probably play a kick and stick here and try and float behind the 9. Nothing hits rail, ball in hand. He wanted to hit the left side of the 2 there. He wanted to hit the left side of the 2. Instead, he hit the full part, and the 2 carried into a couple balls, and nothing got to the cushion. Again, another chance for Jason to try and recoup here. He's just got to fight here 1 game at a time. Again, this is on Desi's break. This is what you want. You want to win games on your opponent's break. Imperative, playing the alternative break format. See if he pulls the cue ball back. There you go. See if he can get the cue ball to where it is right now. That's kind of ideal. So he's going to draw the cue ball with low right English. Try and suck it back. No, he pinched it. Look at that. He pinch floated. He's playing for the combination. This is, Danny DiLiberto would say, this is the only way you can lose the game. I think Buddy Hall says that too. The only way you can lose the game is playing the combo from there. But he's close. He must like it. It must be close to wired for him to shoot it. Oh, look at this. And look at this. Almost makes it in the corner. All right. Now, when the 9 ball gets into this position, sometimes guys get like super wide-eyed and they start chasing it just in case, you know. Desi's just going to focus on burying this 4 ball. If he can bury the 4 ball, he'll take whatever. What a great shot. Buries the 4 ball. He's got a thin cut on the 5, or he looks like he's playing the carom to make the 9. Oh my God, he played the carom and played like a 1 pocket almost takeout shot where it didn't go. That's so sick. He didn't hit it terrible. I thought he could have cut it to make it. I like the carom, you know, but now it's questionable. Let's see. Looks like Jason's got to hit kind of full to make this bank, and that's kind of rough. Man, is he going to try and play safety instead, or is he going to go for the full send? Went for the send. I think he got a kiss, and the 5 is going to go back up table. If it lines up funny with the 8, it's like best case scenario for Jason. Looks like it kind of lined up a little funny. There's a couple options here. He could float the cue ball behind the 8 and just float the 5 to the rail and drag the cue ball behind the 8. Or he could come and carom off the right side of the 5 where it rubs the 8 and kind of floats forward and the cue ball goes up table towards the 9. He's looking at maybe swinging the cue ball 3 rails. He's trying to figure it out. He doesn't like anything, he says. What would you guys do in the chat here? Guys, if you're watching the stream and enjoying the commentary, please make sure to press share on the stream. Helps the channel, helps the tour get some eyeballs. So if you're watching, there's 21 of us. Let's go ahead and share to our groups and we can get some more people in here. All right, so he's lining up. Looks like the carom, my second option. Hit it pretty good. A little bit too much spin or carom, a little couple variations there, but I don't dislike that shot. I think that's a nice shot. He's kind of put Jason in a tough spot. No clear shot. I wonder if he can shoot the 4 full, the 5 full, and bank it 2 cushions and just follow the cue ball to the short cushion. I think he doesn't have that shot from this angle. He could bank the 5 between the 7-8 and then follow the cue ball to the long rail and down below the 7, but then you're betting on burying him behind the 7 and not letting him see the 5. He played the outside English, attack the 9 trick. Make Desi have to come with the bank. Desi could go for the bank. He can go for the carom. He could 2-rail the cue ball at the 9. There's a lot of things he could do. Played the bank long, almost hit the point. These guys, remember what I was saying earlier, that sometimes when the ball gets deep in that pocket, everybody's eyes are super wide, you know what I mean? They just want to bury the 9, and it becomes this long, drawn-out game, even though the 9 is sitting in the jaws. It's kind of tough. I think Jason can actually see the 5 to make it. Now he's just got to get the cue ball back up table, avoid the scratch in the side. Nice shot. Hit the gap between the 7, and he's in position to escape. This did not look good for him, and you hate to lose a game like this where you have a couple of shots at the 9. Oh, Jason wobbled the 6. He's just got to take his time. That's all. He's just got to relax. Give himself a chance to put good, clean strokes on the ball. Don't rush your process. Forget about the 9. Doesn't matter where it is. Just play your position and stay clean. All right, let's see what Jason decides to do here. Looks like he can probably go forward 2 cushions. Make a nice clean stroke on the 7. Nice shot. Was pretty flat, made a nice stroke. Now he's just got to make the 5 and get anywhere really on this 9 ball. But it looks like he's got to get the extension because he's a little bit out in no man's land. If he was left-handed, this would be no problem. But where he ended up, it's difficult to reach with for a right-handed player. Again, he's got to be careful not to bridge and touch the 9 with anything. Oh, it looks like he's going to just go with the bridge instead of the extension. Yep. He didn't like his end of reaching over the table and having to avoid hitting the 9. So looks like he's going for the bridge. Looks like he's using the bridge upside down. Of course, whenever you're struggling, it's always like everything's like super difficult. It's kind of funny. He ends up in the one spot where he needs to use the bridge, and people walking around, and he's a little uncomfortable. He's made a couple mistakes to be trailing. So, he's got a long distance shot on the 9, but should be easy. He could cut the 9 slightly and avoid the scratch. He can go slightly rail first. He's elevating. This is my least favorite option, but he makes the 9, gets a game back. And again, that was on Desi's break. So this is a really big break for Jason coming up down 4-3. If I'm Jason and if I'm really sweating the other stuff, I might think about taking a quick break here, going to the bathroom, washing my hands, and just kind of like regroup and say, okay, I'm just going to come back and focus on putting together some quality innings, some quality strokes, give myself a good chance to play well the second half of the match. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. This is, again, we're at Livingston Billiards in Bradenton, Florida, south of Tampa, by about an hour or so, just over the Skyway Bridge. Beautiful room. There's a ladies event going on as well on the bar tables. Men are playing on the 9-footers. Okay, looks like Jason comes with a slam break again. I haven't seen Jason adapt his break as often as Desi. Desi's looked like he's been more prone to want to try and switch it up, whereas Jason kind of keeps doing more or less the same thing. Neither of them have been awfully productive on the break. The spot makes it kind of tough. All right, let's see if Desi decides to play safe here, if he's going to go for the bank. Oh, he just floats the cue ball behind the 4. I like that. Jason's got a... What has he got? Oh, he can masse over the top of the 4. Inside English. Checks the cue ball. Comes out into the middle. He's going to leave a shot. Desi wants to be above the 2 on the same side of the table as a 1. So you'll see him play this with a high ball. See, he wanted to stay above the 2 so he can have natural position coming back, but he overcut the 1. This is where Jason has to really capitalize and attack, you know. Desi's shown that he's missed a ball now, an open ball. And you're only down 1 rack, even though you've made a couple mistakes. Like, now's the time to really bear down and try and secure this game and make it an even game again. Probably see him spin the ball around table. He made the combination. Swinging away a little bit. Moving some furniture around. He's got a shot on the 1. Probably go to the short cushion and back up. Oh, hit a little chubby there. Caught the point going in, but it's still in. But it slowed the speed of the cue ball down. So I think he's kind of straight in, so he's going to draw the cue ball back. Nice shot. Off the long rail. Okay. You got to really decide what you want here from your cue ball position off of this 4 ball. Got to get from the 5 to the 6. So he's trying to see how he can manage the path of the cue ball after pocketing the 5 and where he wants to be. Somewhere near the center of the table with a nice natural angle. He's got to spin the cue ball around the 9 here. Got to avoid colliding with the 9. Went right into it. Loses cue ball position. He's nowhere now. Okay. Yeah, he's a little upset. I understand. He hit the 9 ball going in. So that's probably would have done better by hitting slightly slower stroke speed and then using spin to make up that distance. So, anyways, plays a nice shot here. Really great cue ball speed. Gotta love that. Beautiful shot. 2 cushions, down table, found a great line. And he's got Desi tripled up here. Desi's got to decide how he wants to attack a kick. All right. Swings at the kick. Cue ball comes across the top of the 6, back and forth. Jason has a shot. The 6 is makeable from where it is. Again, he's got to avoid and manage the cue ball carom line here. Either 2 rails behind the 9 or 1 rail with inside English. And stay on this side of the 9. Let's see what he decides to do. Rolling ball. Almost. So close. He hit like a middle ball rolling. And just caught it a hair thick, I think. That was a big ball for Jason. If he would have made that, it would have been likely he runs out the last few balls. Desi now can come rail first. Play long, just like this. You always want to play to the 4th cushion there, playing rail first. Center ball gets you around the middle of the 4th cushion. You don't have to worry about it. and gives you that nice angle off the 7. Bounced a little far, to be honest. Now he's got to come with a stroke shot, and it's a shot that he has to execute now and hit with a good stroke, and he didn't really get down into the cue ball, so he got a little fortunate, honestly, to bump the 9 and still have a makeable shot. Dribbles into the top cushion there. Got to be mindful, got to be really careful there. He made the rail first on the 6, had whatever he wanted on the 7, and got a little far, and then, he could have come a little lower on the 9. All of a sudden, you can't really cut the 9 because you're afraid of the scratch, and maybe you got to play a bank or even a safety, so gets away with one there a little bit, but recovers nicely, and puts himself back up by 2 games, 5-3. Again, another rack 1 on Jason's break. That's now 4 out of his 5 points, all 1 on Jason's break. Moves his coin. All right, Desi switching sides again, going back to the box. Probably see him try the slam break again. He's going to probably rip into this one. Didn't hit him great. The timing was off. Lots of spin on the cue ball. But the 2 does drip up in front of the corner pocket. Kind of a fortunate outcome for him. Kind of spun the rock there a little bit. Turned the 1 on the side. Okay, he's going to come 1 rail. Oh, wow. Did he get a weird kiss? Too deep, he says, yeah. So he probably just hit, when the ball's that deep and you hit the high ball on the cue ball, the cue ball doesn't have time to get to natural roll by the time it comes off the cushion. So the high ball stays on the cushion, stays on the cue ball after it leaves the cushion. So it wants to kind of hug the rail slightly. So that forced him to go deep behind the 4, and now he's got to come with a jump shot. The ideal situation there when the ball is super deep is you want to try and hit center ball, not high ball, and you want to try and hit a little thinner if you can to get away from it. Or if you can put a good full hit on the ball, you can just draw your ball out of there. That's another good way to get out of there. He makes a nice hit on the 3. Little drama. 7 decides to hang up by the side. Jason's got a look at the 3 ball here. I wouldn't rush here. It looks like he's kind of being a little quick. I think I would have taken a little bit more time to really secure what my carom line is going to be. It's hyper crucial. I might have been interested in playing that with a little bit of inside to try and hit the gap with the 9 and 6 personally. But, just to get up there and cut the ball and just hope for the best, that's not the best strategy. You really got to be mindful. This is a key opportunity. Can't really afford more mistakes, and you don't want to give your opponent a chance to get lucky. You get into the safety situation again, and now you're going to let your opponent have an extra inning. Who knows? He might cut this combo in. You never know. So, and then you say, oh, he got lucky. I'm like, well, he did get lucky, but you gave him an opportunity to get lucky. I mean, that was not far off from making the 4-8. So this is decision making on a more kind of like nuanced level when it comes to how you approach these innings. You got to be really mindful and try and say, okay, what's the critical part of this shot? How can I leverage it for my best opportunity to win the match? So see, now Jason's facing a jump shot on the 4, banks it around, and now he's going to leave a 4-8 combination. This is all stemming from the decision of not really focusing on the carom line off the 3, just kind of making the 3 and hoping for whatever. A lot of players unfortunately do that, and especially if they're feeling a little pressure and they're compounding some errors from earlier frustrations. And then you might hear people say something like, oh, I got unlucky, or this situation. And within a vacuum, yes, maybe you did get unlucky that the person had a positive outcome off of 1 inning. But what gave them that opportunity? How do we unpack the decision making to actually grow from it? Because if somebody gets lucky, then you can just defer and deflect that away, and it's not your responsibility. You're not responsible anymore for that particular outcome. But if you really look deeper, you say, well, I was a little bit frustrated or a little bit lazy or I lost focus or whatever, and I didn't clean up on an inning that I probably should have, and that left him an opportunity to get a good roll, and then he did. So these things compound very quickly, and when you're competitive or trying to be competitive, it's important to kind of self-analyze and self-address these things as they come up. All right, so now remember, this is next ball in rotation foul. So bridging over the 7 ball becomes triple tough. If he touches the 7 ball with his shaft, it is an automatic ball in hand for Jason. So he's got to be super clear. What I like to do here, guys, is find a comfortable bridge, find my line to make the pocket, find my line to make the pocket on the 6. And then once I'm looking down my line and I trust my line, I look at the cue ball last. I do not look at the object ball last. I look at the cue ball and bear down on making good, solid contact on the 6. And then whatever happens from there. Just trust my speed and trust that my alignment is good. And then I just focus on delivering the cue through the little bit of the cue ball that I have so that I don't rub the 7 accidentally. And he made a great shot. He actually got probably the toughest spot he could get, which is almost straight in on the long cushion. He would have preferred a little angle here to see if he can maybe force the ball into the side or cut it up table. This is kind of a really tricky shot. So let's see if he can bury it. Again, this is all pocket. You just got to really focus on making the good, clean pocket. Nope, caught the point. And the cue ball drifts forward and scratch. Oh my goodness, look at this. Holds up in the corner. Jason's got to be so sick. Bobby, I hope the check is in the mail. Man, what a tough spot to be. But again, if you're Jason, you got to be like, I don't care if this ball ends up on the light. You know what I mean? You got to really go at it with a kind of a positive attitude. I think he's got to find a creative option here. I don't know if going for the 7 outright. I mean, if you have a pocket, by all means, go for it, But there's a couple like banks and safes and stuff that you can play here that could be lucrative. You don't have to necessarily go for the pot. Like you can double bank the 7. See, this is no good. You could have double banked the 7 by hitting it thin, going long row back down to the middle and send the cue ball up table. You could have banked the 7 ball 1 rail, short cushion, and then back up table the opposite short cushion and just let the cue ball hit the long cushion and bump the 9 and leave them long. Well, Jason kind of flailed a little bit at that ball. Desi with a clean look at the 9 ball to get on the hill. Clears up on his break, and now he's got a 3-game lead, commanding lead. But a lot of parity here, right? A lot of like back and forth, a lot of equal opportunity for both players. The 3-game lead is really down to just some decision making, some shot selection errors, some mindset errors, and something that I think we all go through. So it's constructive to kind of unpack that and see where maybe we would have done either the same things or maybe something a little bit different, and then try and apply that to our practice. All right, Jason with a cut break. Unfortunately, does not make a ball. 3 drips up. The rack's kind of open right now. Desi has a nice chance to clean up here and win this match in advance. I think you'll see him go forward here with 2 rails. Nice rolling ball. Speed to the middle. Just like that. Maybe would have liked another foot or so. But this is good. He's got a net triangle. Maybe he plays outside English. He needed to avoid the 6. And this is actually like a good roll for Jason. If he was going to go that way with the rolling ball, I think he needed to spin his cue ball pretty deep to avoid the 6 and then maybe try and go to the 3rd cushion, cross table, and down to the short rail. Okay, he's going to try and kick. He's on a good line here. Oh, got a kiss off the back of the 3 and scratches in the corner. All right, Jason, let's see if you can start digging your way out here, pal. Ball in hand. 3 in the corner. See, Jason bounced to the long rail and into the line of the 4. Very important to try and come into the line of the shot here. Makes that position very favorable and give you a lot of options on how you want to address your next ball. Kind of overdrew his cue ball there. He's still got a shot on the 5 on the side, but now he's got to manage his cue ball to the short cushion and then back up. And hits the 5 full. I think just right now, a little bit of lack of focus and not really cleaning up. I think once Jason watches this back, he'll realize that this match was a lot closer than maybe the score is going to show, and that he had definitely opportunities to win key games that, you know, ultimately cost you in the race to 7 games here. 7 games on the winner's side, Sam. Desi's on the hill, overcuts the 5 slightly. Nope, hits it to the outside of the pocket. I think I like Desi's end of just cleaning up here these last few balls. Nice shot there. A little bit further off the rail than he'd like, but he's got the angle to kind of float forward slightly into the cushion. Come down. One more shot. He's waiting for Donnie here to shoot on the other table. One of the ladies is also shooting on the other table. All right, Desi with this 9 ball. If he secures this, he moves into the final 4 on the winner's side. All right, good match, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys took a little something from the match. If you have any questions about any kind of like tactical play or situational stuff, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. This is Raymond Linares commentating. I'll be signing off now. I'm going to go hit some balls and get ready for my next match. I think I play the winner of this match, if I'm not mistaken, in the next round in the final 4. So stay tuned. Make sure to share the stream, like the page, and we'll be back soon.